Hello, name's Phil at the range. This is the first firing for the newly formed 545 by 39 brass. This is my first voiceover, so I don't know if you're going to be able to hear the shots or not. Not too important, that's why I'm fast forwarding through a good bit of this. But what I can tell you about is in one of these strings, I don't think it's this magazine, I think it's the next magazine, I get a slam fire. And that is the most dangerous, that's the worst case scenario when you're reloading 545 by 39. Take a look at your own steel case ammunition. Take a look at how low those primers are seated, well flush to the case head. I'm using a 10 round Tapco magazine. You don't want to load any more than 10 into a magazine. You can use your 30 rounders, but because the taper isn't on the case yet, your bolt carrier isn't going to strip the round out of the magazine if it's fully loaded. The round just doesn't come to the top of the magazine, at least the back of the round doesn't come right to the top of the magazine. It's the public range, so that's why there are stoppages in the video. And because it's a public range, some people can't go 5 minutes without needing to go downrange. I can go hours without needing to go downrange. Some people, as in the case of today, want to have a conversation while they're downrange. Other people are waiting to shoot. But that's what you get at a public range. It's even during the morning on a weekday. So I'm catching the brass in my fishing net. This is a super boring day. I'm just going through these motions to show you the brass after it's been fired for the first time. I think in a little bit the one guy comes up to me and asks me if I have a front sight tool for the AK. Nope, didn't bring that with me. Cool, ambulance driving by. I'm sorry, a fire truck driving by. Maybe you'll be able to pick that up in the audio. I don't know what you're going to be able to pick up in this audio. If you're going to be able to hear the gun or not. Like I said, that's not too big of a deal. Firing off 120 rounds, and I want to show you the cases. I want to show you what they look like firsthand. So this is me with my big fat finger over the camera because I'm holding the iPad wrong, and I realize that. Then I do the little camera flip thing, looking at the brass here, and I eventually just say, screw it, I'm going to take this brass home, and we can all look at it together real closely. So it should switch to me being in my garage any second.
If they're second firing because they were shot as 5.56 ammo first. So really, I guess this is technically their second firing. First firing as 5.45 is where we bring them all back and inspect them. I know they should be 100%. Took a quick glance at the range. Didn't see any ruptured cases, but we're going to take a close look. We're going to take a close look at all the cases, especially at the necks. See if we see any possible, see if we see any splits, any maybe folds that we didn't see early on, or even like minor scratches around the neck area that could possibly develop into a split. We'll look at each case. Each case is really clean. You can even still feel a tiny bit of lubricant left on from the whole process. We're going to clean that lubricant off shortly, but this is what a fired case is going to look like. Let me see if we can find. On each case there should be pretty much a line going across the whole case. Boy, do I suck at making videos, but I know this content is pretty good. And you might not have seen it anywhere else on YouTube. There's a score along every case, or a scratch. That's where the bolt carrier was riding across the round before it picked it up. So we're looking at each neck, seeing if we see any splits. Sometimes they're real small, and you could feel them with your fingernail. We'll just give these a once over. Take a look at the primers also. Nothing, you're not really going to notice anything special about the primers. They just look like a regular fired primer. I haven't had any issues with pierced primers. And I'm pretty sure didn't lose any brass at the range. A couple went flying over my net. That's just my little fishing net. I don't know, I probably look like a dork catching the brass out of the fishing net. There was only 4 people at the range today. But even with that, with 4 people, you know, I just want to go there and pop off a bunch of rounds. I'm not really in the talking mood when I go to the range, but people feel compelled to talk with me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm a good listener. Pretty much every case has a nice scratch from the bolt carrier, but it's nothing bad. It's just on the surface. And you're going to have a ding in most cases. That's obviously from being ejected pretty violently out of the rifle, and then I think it hits the dust cover. I think they get the ding from the actual dust cover. Nothing special so far. What I should do is show you a quick measurement of these. I'm pretty much 100% sure that the measurement is going to be smaller than our max overall length for a case, which is 1.555. This one here, no, thought that one possible. The cases are looking fine so far, pretty clean. After we go through them all, next step I do is I de-prime them or decap them, then clean them. I use stainless steel pins in the tumbler's tumbler, and I'll show you that process maybe in a later video. This one, that one could be closer. It's not split, but it does have a line on it. We'll have to keep our eye on that one. After they're cleaned, nice and clean and dry, I'm going to put them through the annealer, which is going to anneal the necks possibly any of those, if there's any minor scratches on the necks, it'll sort of, I guess, alleviate the pressure on those scratches. And now that these are nice and expanded, in the next loading, I'll be able to put them in regular magazines, regular 30 round magazines. And because now they have a taper on them. I had to fire all these out of regular, or out of a Tapco 10 round magazine. As like I said in the earlier video, they don't have the taper on them, and the bolt carrier isn't gonna pick the round up because the back of it isn't high enough. The back of the case head isn't sticking up high enough out of the magazine to be picked up by the bolt carrier. So you have to either use a 10 round magazine or just load your regular 30 round magazines just with no more than 10. You could probably get away with loading 15 at a time. But when the bolt carrier doesn't pick up the round, it really messes it up. So I just stay safe and just load. For the first firings, just load 10 rounds into whatever magazine you're using. All these cases are looking good. Nothing special so far. I have no problem firing these again. I've gotten a whole bunch of firings out of brass. The first thing that starts going is the primer pockets though, and that's really with pretty much any rifle round. What I do once I get into after pretty much the fifth firing as these, after I load them up and they're full rounds, I'll put them in the tumbler as loaded rounds and see if any of the primers shake loose. This one. Yep. I'm going to take a close look at the one on your left. I'm trying to hold the bottoms of these. What you know is about the one on your left. Look at that shoulder and the neck. This one, remember in one of the earlier videos, this is the most dangerous one right here. It's not a ruptured case. It's not a split neck. This one right here was the slam fire. I don't know which what the heck am I trying to say? That was caused by me not uniforming the primer deep enough. Alright, the measurement we're looking for in primer pocket depth before we see the primer is 0.12 inches. Alright, you have to try and get that before you see the primer, or this is what you're going to have. This was a slam fire, and you can see just about how much the case, you're talking 32nd of an inch, maybe a 16th of an inch, just how much the case wasn't fully in the chamber. Let's set that one down there. When it went off. That's what makes it dangerous. No case rupture though. But separate that one. What I'll do is when I decap that one, deprime it. I'll uniform the primer pocket a little deeper. Those are all the cases. Not even the neck's got dinged up like as an out around. That's really good. Good. So those I'll do. Next video is deprime them. I'll wash them and dry them, then run them through the annealer. And I'll probably have another, or maybe I'll just make up a lame story to go along with the annealer, because the annealer is pretty boring.